and welcome to Assembly Audible. I'm your host, multimedia editor Jennifer Pierce. We're broadcasting from Nashville, Tennessee today, and I am joined by Pierre de Giorgio with Spartan Robotics. Pierre, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for making time for the podcast today. So to start with, tell our listeners, what do you do with Spartan Robotics and a little bit more about the company?
Sure, yeah, so we formed Spartan Robotics to address a shortage in the welding industry, specifically in industry, large companies, small companies, where there's a global, and especially in the United States, a shortage of welders. So we developed a cobot welding cell integrated with a 7-axis cobot from Castle Robots and with Fronius welding power sources.
Okay, great. So tell us about the system Spartan Robotics is showcasing.
Sure, so we showed our traditional system that it usually comes on a welding table. We have various sizes that a user can select. We have custom options as well, but the specific system that we're showing today is on a 32 by 48 inch table. It has a 7-axis cobot from Castle Robots, as I mentioned, the Fronius power source, and then we also integrated this one with a automatic tool changer from Grip, and that goes between the welding torch and also an on-robot gripper. So for this application, we're showing where you can also have the robot pick the part, place it on the table. We do a tool change from the gripper to the torch. The welder comes over and welds the part, and once it's complete, we go and automatically put down the torch, pick up the gripper, and then remove the part from the table, and then bring in a new part and continue the process. So some applications might want to use multiple tools. Some other applications, you might just want an operator loading and unloading the part.
Mm-hmm. So what problem is the system solving? Or
yeah,
problems,
sure.
plural.
Yeah, so primarily it's the welder shortage, right?
Okay.
So it's getting more and more difficult to find skilled labor in the U.S. A lot of younger people aren't going into welding. It's a tough application to do. So as the companies we talk to, they're doing their best to retain the good welders that they have. And in many cases, they don't want to do those repetitive, very simple tasks. They'd rather spend their time doing the more creative work. So for an application like this, you still need a welder who knows how to, lay down a good bead, dial in the welding parameters to produce a quality weld. So you still, you retain that skill from your existing welders, but then at the same time, you're able to use a less skilled person just to maintain the machine, load and unload the parts, press play, and then the robot does the tough job of actually welding.
Okay, so where would I find something like this? In what industry?
The type of customers that we talk to are, small fabrication shops. The last system we sold, the company is only a $3.5 million company, a small company, 12 employees, all the way up to larger corporations with hundreds of employees. One of our customers, they produce pontoon boats. So they,
okay.
So they're welding on, the frames and everything for the gates and the fences that go around the boat. So we're seeing it all across the industry. Really, anybody who's welding metal parts, they're all facing the same problem. What we're finding too is that the smaller companies, it's really attractive to them because sometimes it's hard for them to retain good welders because some of the larger corporations are able to offer better benefits, more vacation, things like that. So, in order for them to retain their quality welders, they need to put them on the jobs that they enjoy doing while also being able to take on more work. We had a customer here recently who, without purchasing one of our systems, wasn't able to take on a larger job, and actually they were having to turn work away. Mm-hmm. So by purchasing a Spartan welding system, putting it in place, it's very, very simple to use. Typically by the time we put it on the floor, our customers are welding within the same day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Is there anything else that we should know about robotic welding or the company in general before we close today?
Yeah, I think some of the challenges that people have is selecting the right equipment and the right partner, right? So I think probably the biggest concern that some of the customers have had is what kind of support do I get? Because for many of them, this is their first introduction to robotics, and it can be a little intimidating. Or we try to show our customers is that first we're there to support you, so that the training is very, very easy. We have remote support as well as on-site support, and showing them that we've made the system so easy to use that anybody can weld with one of our systems. So taking some of the fear away from them and showing that you really don't have to have robotics experts on staff. Anybody can use it. So once we show them that and you let them get their hands on it, they realize very, very quickly that they can get a fast ROI. I mean, some of the shortest return on investments that we've seen is as little as 6 months.
Okay.
So, so most of the time once they see that, they're ready to produce the next system. And, in addition to welding, then they also, look at some of the other applications that they have, like, we also do laser welding, we do plasma cutting as well. So it's very easy to tool up the same robot, if you like, to change out that tool and put a plasma cutter on and have the exact same system produce, to do more work, more applications. So some customers have where they need the welder dedicated, but others may only have, short spurts of jobs where they might want to run welding, for half a shift, and the other half of the shift they might need to do plasma cutting. So they can purchase, dedicated systems for that, or use the same system and do multiple jobs.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you so much
My pleasure.
for sharing on the podcast today.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Until next time, signing off for today, I'm Jennifer Pierce. Thanks for listening.